So I'd like to talk to you guys again about rounding. I know we've gone over this briefly in class, but it's just one that people often screw up. So make sure you can do it right, and then you'll be alright. First thing that you want to recognize is that 2dp represents like 2 decimal points, meaning I want this number written as 2 dot something something with 2 decimals after it. So first thing that I'm going to do is count over to the required dp. So that's 1, 2 spots. And then I'm going to draw a line to the right of that number. And I'm going to look on the left-hand side of that number. Sorry, right-hand side. I'm going to look on the right-hand side and decide if this number is 5 or bigger, I'd round up the 8. But if it's less than 5, i.e. 4 down to 0, I'm just going to leave it the same. And in this case, it is less than 5, so I'm going to get 2.38, and then I just drop the rest of it off. It goes away. And this becomes 2dp. Looking at the next example, here I've got a whole bunch of decimals, and I want to round to 6dp. So again, I'm going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots, and draw a line after that, because I want to include those 6 spots and drop off anything after that. The next thing I'll do again is look at the number to the right of the line. In this case, I see a 5. So if it is 5 or bigger, I need to round up. So I need to take the number here that I want to keep and actually round it up because it's 5 or bigger. So this number is going to become 0.00896, and that 0 will round up to a 1. And then we leave the 5 alone. It goes away. And this is rounded to 6dp. Looking at our next example, to 4dp, again I'll count out 1, 2, 3, 4 spots, draw my line, and here I want to look to the right again, and I see that that number is 5 or bigger. It's a 7, so I know I need to round up. And if I look over here, I've got a 9, and well, a 9 rounds up to a 10. So you've got to think about carrying that 1, and one way to look at it is think about, instead of just rounding the 9, let's look at the 89. Can we round that whole thing up to 90? So I'm carrying that 1 over, and it becomes 0.1290 for 4dp. So again, that's the idea here, that because I see the 7, I need to round up the 9, but 9 rounds to 10, so I need to carry 1 over to the 8, and it rounds up to 9 as well. Looking at this next example, 3dp, 1, 2, 3, draw the line, and I'm always going to look to the number just to the left, or just to the right, even if there was a whole pile of numbers. Afterwards, I would still just look to the one exactly to the right of the line. So here it's looking at 7, and I know that that's going to make me round up. And here I've got 99. So a 9 needs to round up to 10, and that's going to round that 9 up to a 10, and we still have to carry a 1 further over. So this whole thing is going to round up to 800. And another way to look at that is 799 can round up to 800. So let's become 23.800. And we write 3dp. And for both of these examples that we just did, where the ends in 0, where the 9 rounded up to a 0, it's important to leave those zeros there if they're required to complete the number of dp. So here I needed 4, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And here I needed 3, I've got 1, 2, 3. So those zeros are important in that case. You don't just drop them off. Looking at another example, rounding to 2dp, so 1, 2. Here to the right, I see a number that's less than 5. So I'm not going to round up, I'll just leave the number as it is and drop off the stuff after the dp I want. 2dp. And here I'm looking at 2dp, so 1, 2. Draw the line to the right. I'm going to look at the number on the right side here, and that's a 3. It looks like an 8 with a line drawn there, but that's a 3. So 3 is going to be less than 5, so I know I need to leave this the same, 3.09. But I wrote this as an example because a lot of times if there's more than one decimal point that you're trying to round off or drop off, like here 3 and 9, people will start rounding at the end. So you try to round this one 9, oh that means that one goes up, and then that, it changes on, but you don't. You ignore everything except for the one right on the line. Look at it to see whether you go up or stay the same. Write it out and drop everything else off after that. So it becomes 2dp. So careful with that. Make sure that you guys are checking your answers carefully to do the work correctly, and make sure you ask if you have any questions. A few places you can go for work on that one. Your choice where you want to be for that. Okay.